What's up, everybody? Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know, I talk about it in this episode, but I got some new video gear and I didn't quite have it set up properly. I'd actually just taken it out of the box right before we set up this episode, and just letting you know that the video quality in this one isn't quite up to the standard of what I normally would want to produce, but I'm not going to not use the video that we recorded. So just letting you know that the video quality is going to be a little bit lesser in this video than what you normally would see. But I promise that going forward, we're going to work on it. We're going to fix it and bring it up to the standards. So thank you guys so much for everybody that listens week after week. And if you're new, welcome. And we're so glad to have you as a listener. So without further ado, let's jump into Up in the Air. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Up in the Air.
Oh,
with
all right.
Tyler, the Protein Shake, and Jeff.
Right now, that's not true anymore.
It's a callback to the last episode. Speaking of the last episode, so we recorded that 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
What have you been up to since then, Tyler?
Nothing much.
Anything crazy or big happened in your life within the past 2 weeks?
Hospitalization.
Wait, what?
Hey.
What? No way!
I've been to the hospital.
You've been to the hospital. Why don't you tell everybody what happened?
I was looking back at the old episode to see if my arm was swollen, and I don't think you can really tell.
Yeah, you can't really tell.
But that was the week that it was swollen.
I mean, we recorded it on Friday, and then the next day you went to the hospital.
Yeah.
So for I think it was the last episode when your hand was swollen. Maybe it was either episode 3 or 4 because we recorded those in the same week.
It was very swollen.
It was very swollen.
Why
was it very swollen, Tyler?
Well, so let's get some background before we even get to that. So we were working out. It was a Monday. And I was like, my arm's very much swollen. And you at first were like, it's fine. I was like, okay. But then because I had said that when we were doing maybe our first workout. I don't know what to tell you, dude. By the time we got like 3/4 of the way done and we were on the incline bench, it was very much swollen. You're like, dude, that's not good. You need to stop.
Your arm was firm. Like most people's arms are like kind of, squishy. Your arm was firm.
Was thick, like hard, like a countertop table. And so we stopped. But then it went away. So I said, must not have been anything too crazy. So we worked out Tuesday. Nothing happened. It was arm day even. Nothing happened. Went to work out Wednesday. It swelled again, but it did not go back down. My arm got so swollen by Friday and Saturday that you could no longer tell that I had an elbow or a divot in the front part of my arm. It was just one singular skin tube. That was solid as a rock.
Thick skin tube, Bubba.
Solid as a rock. My hand looked like Vienna sausage fingers. And by Sunday, it was purple. My arm was purple. And so I still went to church because it's Sabbath and it's the Lord's Day. So I still went to church at 9 o'clock. And then I was like, I have to go to the ER, like now. So I called my mom and I said, I'm going to the ER in Columbus. I'm a big boy, so I'm going to go. Do you want me to go to Dayton? Just like in case you want to like come in, if I need a pair of shorts, you want to need to get me food or something or whatever. She's like, yeah, come down to Dayton. Actually, the like financial payment stuff's just easier at that hospital to come down to Dayton. So I was driving down to Dayton, and my dad calls me. He's like, hey, you need to go to the ER right now. I was like, no kidding. That's what I'm doing, going to the ER right now. What are the chances? He said, I was just talking to a doctor at our church, and he said that you have a blood clot, and that's very serious. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm driving to the ER.
I'm literally en route.
I'm en route to destination that you have determined for me. So I get to the ER, taking my time. I'm thinking I'm just going to get some blood thinners and get the crap out of there because I got to go to work in the morning and I got stuff to do. When I sit down, they put the IV in me, and all I remember is my mom saying, are you okay? You don't look very good. And then the next thing I remember, the nurse is like right here in my face. And my mom is...
For those of you that are watching, show how
right there.
Right there. Just like... Right there.
She's right here.
Okay.
And my mom's across the room looking terrified. And she was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And they're like, well, you just had a seizure. And I was like, well, I don't remember that. So that was
very odd.
I'm sure very scary for my mom to see. And she said, okay, this is a lot more serious than we thought. We need to get you into some like testing right now. So they did an ultrasound testing where they started to test my like shoulder.
Imagine if Tyler was making all this up, by the way. What if you were just making all this up?
I'm not smart enough to make this up. I'm not that interesting. So they did some ultrasounds. They took me into a couple CAT scans. They took me into an MRI to make sure I didn't have any brain damage from that. And they said, hey, you have a blood clot, and it's huge. And it's right here in your shoulder. And it is like half a foot away from your heart. And the reason you had a seizure is because those parts of that blood clot are coming off and they're breaking into your lungs and they're causing what's called pulmonary embolism.
From just the sound of that, it sounds terrible.
Yeah, well, it was terrible because what it's doing is blocking circulation to my brain and causing me to black out.
Oh, that's fun. That's good.
But as they described it in the most professional way I've ever heard, hey, so basically the lights in the house are flickering on and off. And I said, wow.
That sounds like
way
death.
Way to talk about life like that. What was the struggle was they didn't know what was going on. They didn't understand why I had a blood clot because I'm in my mid to late 20s. I'm super healthy.
Late 20s.
I've had no...
You're in your late 20s. You're not in your mid... You're in your late 20s.
Give me something here, man.
You're alive.
Yeah.
What else do you want?
Okay, fine. So they didn't know. They said usually blood clots are in your leg. We don't understand why it's in your arm. You don't have any genetic diseases or anything prior that would show why that would happen. So a guy comes in and he said, hey, I'm serious. We're going to have to check you for cancer. So my mom starts crying. Oh, God. And I'm like, Mom, don't cry. You didn't say I had cancer. You just has to check me for cancer.
First experience, from like first person experience, cancer is not fun.
No.
I had blood cancer.
Yeah.
Like I had leukemia.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, and so
and that's like probably what your mom was freaking out about.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, he has leukemia or something.
Yeah. So that was cool. We never saw that doctor again. That's another thing is I saw probably 20 or 30 doctors in 4 days. So you would always get like you get 20% of the information of what's going on. He would leave, and then the next guy would come in and he'd give you 10% of what that guy just said and 10% new information. And then he'd be like, "Did blah 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 from Vascular come up and talk to you?" And we were like, "No, he didn't. I don't know what's going on.
No, I've never met blah blah blah.
Yeah, Dr. Blah blah blah." And so that's what was annoying. I didn't know I was going into surgery until an hour before I was going into surgery. They're like, "Hey, you ready for surgery?" And I said, "I guess. Why am I going into surgery?" God. I went into surgery. They had to get that blood clot out. So that night, they took me into surgery. They cut open my arm and shoved a catheter up into my chest. And then they put another little tube that's supposed to release a gel to break the blood clot down.
And it did?
I'm not done yet.
Oh,
so to break the blood clot down, because they put me on blood thinners. They put me on heparin, highest grade blood thinner you can take. They had to put me in ICU.
I bet you had some thin blood.
Here's another thing that was scary. They said, hey, honestly, if you have any complications from the surgery, there's a very good chance you could die because you'll bleed out in minutes. And I was like, thank you for that. That's going to just really prep me for the night well. I'm really going to sleep well. Thanks for telling me that.
That's so because your blood was so thin.
Yeah.
And it would bleed out.
Yeah. So that is a thank you for that. You got anything else nice to tell me?
This is cracking me. I'm sorry, but this is absolutely
now that I'm
me
here,
up.
you can crack up. So I was like, woo, all right. So they did that surgery. The blood thinner won't break the clot down. It'll just keep it from getting worse. So that's why they had to do that surgery with that gel, so it would break that clot down. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting in the ICU. I have an IV coming out of this arm. I have 4 IVs coming out of this arm. They're all attached to like multiple tubes as I knock this mic around. I have an EKG machine that's got all of the like things measuring my heart rate. Yeah, all the little nodes. It looked like I was a part of Star Wars in the back because it looked like you were manning a battleship behind me. There's like 14, 15 computers looking things with
Did
buttons.
they ever figure out what caused the actual blood clot?
Oh, we'll get to it.
Oh, God.
I'm sure you're thinking what the fans are thinking.
I just want to keep
I know.
coming ahead, but just...
So I'm laying there. I can't bend either one of my arms.
Right.
Can't bend them. So when everyone's... Go ahead.
Side note. I text you on Monday. I'm like, hey, buddy, you want to go to the gym today? What are we hitting? And you're like, nothing. I'm in the hospital, like, I'm about to go into surgery. Yeah. And I'm like, You're what?
Excuse me?
And I would consider you a very good friend, and I'm wondering why you hadn't texted me and told me.
And that's just as quick as you knew as I knew, which was the problem because I was still, even in the ER thinking, I'll be home in a couple hours.
Well,
so
you went to the hospital on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm like, why didn't he text me and tell me? And then I found out later you couldn't bend your arms.
Yeah. So if my arms are bent, everyone's like, hey,
this.
so they're sending stuff out to staff for prayers, and my arms are like this, and so everyone's like, hey man, how you doing? I would literally have to do this. I'd have to look down like this and type with one thumb, be like, I drop the phone, be like, come on.
You know what's cool
doing
though is
good.
There's
Send.
something called voice text where you could have been like, hey Siri, text Jeff. Hey man, just so you know, I'm in the hospital.
No.
I'd appreciate if you pray for me.
No, I was on so many drugs, man.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
Hey Ma, can you text a Jeff?
Yeah.
There's no Jeff in here. All I see is Geoff.
Yeah, who's Geoff? So that whole first night, I'm going to be honest, that first night was very sobering. I cried at about 3 or 4 a.m. because I legitimately was like, I could die tonight. I literally could die tonight. At 28 years old, I might pass away. And so in your brain, as a person that's 20, to think about mortality.
I'm sorry, it's not funny, but
why are you laughing?
It's just insane to me how like you went from us like doing this on Friday and then 2 days later you're like almost dead.
Yeah. It's
sorry,
serious.
it's not funny at all.
But I was there and I was thinking like, man, like God doesn't owe me anything.
But
he's not like
God.
he's like not taking anything away from me. I'm not mad at him. But I would like to live.
We were in a series called Things That Can't Be Taken.
Yeah, and my life would have been one of them. So that was a rough first night. Also, I didn't shower. Like I couldn't shower because I couldn't get up. So my face got so dirty that my eyes would get bloodshot because like everything in my hair and face would get into my eyes. And I'm laying it back in the bed like this. I would wake up, my eyes were burning so bad that I would have to like push the button on the side of my bed to lean up, and they would just pour like tears and water out because they just hadn't been cleaned out. So there was that.
Dang,
also, if you want it to be really embarrassing,
just so you guys know, I would say 70% of what you're hearing right now, I'm also hearing for the first time.
Yeah. So
go on.
So I'm sitting there. It doesn't get any more embarrassing.
You keep talking. I forgot to turn this light on, so just keep talking because I'm not allowed to talk anyway. So go on.
Yeah, we all know that. That's how this podcast goes. So anyway, I am sitting there. It doesn't get any more embarrassing when you are hungry and you can't feed yourself because you can't bend your arms. So your dad like brings you food, and then your mom has to feed you. So she's like. She thinks it's funny, so she's like, here comes the choo-choo train. I'm like, Mom, shut up and feed me this salad.
Your mom is my hero. That's
I'm mad. And it's like, and it's hyper embarrassing because she's like trying to feed me, and there's like very attractive nurses walking by, and I haven't showered in 3 days. My nipple's hanging out, and This is just a terrible moment. This is a terrible time.
Gosh, dude.
I'm like dazed and out of it. So the next night goes by. They take me into a room and they run dye through my veins to see where the clots had gone. Well, they did that check and they saw that the clot had not gone away. So they had to do another surgery. And I was like, neato. All right, here we go. Didn't know that was
the gel
a thing.
was supposed to knock
the gel was supposed to
away,
clean it out, and it did not clean out. That oil did not do what it was supposed to do in that car engine.
Stupid gel.
Went into another surgery. It's called an angioplasty. So they take a little wire, and that catheter is already in there. So they put that wire up, and there's a balloon on the end, and they would pump the balloon up, and then they would they'd pull clots out. So I felt the whole thing. It was a 4-hour surgery.
Right.
Wonderful. Let me tell you, if anybody wants to have a good weekend, just call for one of those and just have them have at it.
So in other
4
words,
hours.
it hurt very bad.
It sucked. So they numbed my arm, and they gave me fentanyl, which, that's neat. But
why didn't they just knock you out?
I don't know. I don't know if they
Just
needed
for the
me.
heck of it?
I don't know if they needed me to respond to tell them if it was working or not, because you can tell the difference, if it gets a clot or not. I don't know, because there is serious differences if they have to use anesthesia to knock you out, or if they don't, like on your body, how hard it is on your body.
Do you have good mobility in your arm now? Like, are you?
Oh, it wasn't at first, not at all, but it's pretty much normal now.
Sorry, I keep
no, you're good. Those are good questions. There's good questions.
I'm asking you the questions that our listeners
probably are asking. Right, yeah, that's fine. So they did that, but it hurt because just because you can't feel pain doesn't mean you can't feel pressure. So I could still feel the pressure of that balloon. I could hear them. I could hear them saying, dilate 2, dilate 4, dilate 6. They're pumping the balloon up. And they're like, okay, it's at 18, pull through. And you could feel them pulling the balloon through.
As you're talking about.
Yeah, you could see them pulling the balloon. Like, not see. You could feel it pulling that balloon through.
How big was it in your vein?
I mean, think of a vein. It's that small.
No, but how big was the balloon?
Not big at all.
Oh, so I'm thinking like a balloon animal.
Yeah, they're like make a sword, and they're like putting it up there, and they're like, now wiggle it around and drag it through, and it's like making a balloon sound. How'd that feel? That's not what they did. So after that surgery, this is what you don't want to hear. All right, we're gonna have to stop. That is not what you want to hear. That is what I heard.
We're gonna have to stop.
Yeah, I'm like, why? Hey guys, you want to fill me in? Would that be cool? So they told me like the surgery was successful. I was like, that's what I needed. That's what I needed, lady. Thank you. She said, but
she said, but
yeah. But we're trying to open your vein back up. So we got the clots out, but we're trying to open your vein back up.
So it doesn't clot again?
Yeah, well, yes. So, but it keeps collapsing. So we need to find out why that is. I said, hey, that's a good thought there. Good. I like where you're tracking, doctor. So why don't you go and figure that out? In the meantime, I went back to my room and ICU.
Hey, yeah, you go do your job and figure that out.
So they cleaned me out. While that happened at dinner time, the guy next to me in ICU died. So that was really cool to watch him wheeled down the hallway. It made me feel good about my own mortality again. Talking to you about mortality.
Goodness gracious.
I'm just hanging out in the ICU with all these people. So they came in.
Every time
later.
I hear the word mortality, I think of Mortal Kombat. Go on.
Yeah, I almost was finished, if you want to think of it that way. Finish him. He almost finished me. So I was there. They then had another doctor. I felt
I was there.
Obviously, I wasn't going anywhere. At one point, there were 9 people in there. 9 doctors. They're like, yes, yeah. They were writing things down. Oh, yes, very good. Like,
yeah,
why are
sure,
you all?
sure.
Because they hadn't seen this in like 3 or 4 years at that hospital. They finally come in. They said, hey, man, you have something called Paget-Schroeder syndrome. Paget-Schroeder syndrome. It's impossible to spell. I'd have to show you.
Okay.
You got something called Patrick Schroeder syndrome. Or
Patrick Star syndrome.
Yeah, Patrick Star-Studer syndrome. And it happens in like 1 in every 100,000 people. I'm like, oh, great, I can't win the lottery, but I can get myself Paget-Studer syndrome. God. That's neat. Basically, your vein is too close to your bone. You might have an extra rib. I'm like, okay. And and it's cutting the circulation to your arm. Like that vein is what gives blood to all of that arm. So when you were working out, you weren't working out too hard, you weren't working out too often, you weren't working out in the wrong way, but the movement of your arm was continuously cutting that vein off with circulation, and it was clotting because it thought it was going through trauma, which it wasn't. So this wouldn't have happened if you started working out, but like you weren't doing anything wrong, and you should work out.
So if you weren't working out, this wouldn't have happened.
No, but they said, they're like, if you were like a baseball pitcher or you played violin or if you were like a stock boy at Kroger, by you moving your arms up and lifting them all the time, like this would have happened. So it wasn't just working out. It was just the motion of that, and that's just how it happens. So they said, we need to, which is a surgery I'm now waiting on to get, we need to do what's called a bone refraction? They need to cut out part of my ribs. Is basically.
Do you have an extra rib, or is it just?
I mean, I don't really know.
Okay.
I think I never got a full answer.
So what's keeping you from
working out?
No. What's keeping you from having the blood clot?
Living my best life now. What's keeping me from clotting? Blood thinners, and not working out. So my blood is thinner.
So you're fine as long as you don't do a lot.
Right. So that's why like I can go to the gym and squat, and I can do abs, but I can't do anything with my arms.
Are you sure you want to risk that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
so I can't use my arms for anything. So even if I was doing rows, like for my back, like I can't do that because that's moving my like, shoulder and clamping it down. I can't. So until I get that surgery done, I can't.
Which you're still waiting on that surgery.
Right. So the reason I'm waiting on is because they had to transfer that to OSU because it's a specialized surgery. And they said, what would you rather have, a guy that's done the surgery twice this year or a guy that's done the surgery 12 times this week? I said the opposite, and they said exactly.
So the first one, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, that guy,
everybody needs some
He
practice.
needs to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to be that guinea pig.
And I'm on blood thinners.
Yeah.
So you know,
just have him take out his rotary saw.
Well, it's more
and go
pressure
in
for
there.
him because you're on blood thinners. So like
Yeah.
he has to do it right.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Have him tinker around.
Yeah.
Go Bob the Builder on it. And just
I
mess
mean,
it up.
why can't they just put you in like a tub? So then if you bleed out, it's like
You catch it and just shove
Yeah.
it back in.
Yeah, that's what
just
I'm
pour it
saying.
back in through my mouth.
like there's like at the bottom of the tub where the drain is, there's
Yeah.
an IV.
just
that
goes right back in.
just right
Just
back in.
refilter. I'm sure it's completely sterile.
I kind of have an inventor's mind.
yeah,
you know?
you seem like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give him a call.
Sure.
So I was there for a total of 4 days. That last day, here's what's infuriating. The last day they discharged me at like 9 a.m. But I didn't get out of there until like 10:30 p.m. because all day they were sending my information to OSU, and they started me on my pill forms of my blood thinner, and they had to do it every 12 hours. So they gave it to me at 9, and then they had to give me another set at 9 p.m. So I was not allowed to leave the hospital until they handed me 2 little pills, which I understand because that's what they have to do. It's the
Yeah.
legality of the situation.
It
They
just
have to
sucks.
mark it down. I get it, but that still sucks. And here's what also sucks. So far as I know, OSU doesn't even have my papers. I had to call them 2 days ago, and they're like, yeah, we don't have anything. We don't have anything. Your name's not even showing up in the system. That's a problem. So I had to have them send it again, but I'm waiting on that. So, I mean, hopefully it's in a couple weeks, but it could be 2 weeks or 3 months. I don't know when the surgery is.
And that sucks because we work out a lot.
I'm
still
dying.
I'm still going strong.
I'm dying inside.
I crushed some arms today.
That neat, man. I'm dying inside.
So I found my rope that was at my parents' house last weekend when we were there. So I'm gonna bring my own rope inside Crunch from now on.
Does it have a link to the cable, or you just bringing a rope in?
Yeah.
This is a brown rope from a
it's just-
shed. You're
it's-
just bringing it in there.
Yeah, it's just a thin rope. I just bring it in as Lucky Charm.
Yeah, neat.
So
Cool.
dang, dude, that's
that's how
all
it
like
was.
super heavy stuff.
Yeah, even the minor thing. I hate getting blood taken. I hate it. And they always say the same thing. They said to me 4 different nurses, like, oh, it's the tattoo guy. We all know how you are. You guys can get tattoos all day, but you can't get blood drawn. And I said, yeah, that's true. So just freaking do it so I
See-
can be done. They took it every 4 hours. Every
See,
4
I'm
hours
good
they
with
took my blood.
stuff. Like I have tattoos, but I'm good
Hate
with
it.
blood stuff.
Hate it.
I have some doctor's appointments coming up.
My hands were so jacked up from the amount of times that they did it. It's not their fault either. Can you please do it once and do it once right? I know they're trying to do that, but when you stab me 4 times and you're like, I didn't hit the vein. I'm like, I'm not a pin cushion. Don't just keep shoving stuff in there. I mean, it's fine now. It's been over.
Where were you getting the IV?
So I had like 1, 2, 3, 4. You could see them when I came out of the hospital. I had like 4 or 5 right here. There was 2 or 3 here. There was like 3 here. There's a couple here because they were not allowed to use this arm. Couldn't use the right arm, and they couldn't use this because I had an IV. So they had to use my hand over and over again. And then everyone else was like, wasn't it restful? Like, why didn't you read? I'm like, I couldn't move my arms.
Yeah.
I couldn't read. I
What
couldn't
did you
do
do?
jigsaw.
Did you just watch
I watched
movies?
cable television in my bed, my sweaty hot bed. I watched cable television for 4 days.
Dang, dude, that
Didn't get any sleep because they had to take my vitals once.
That would have been a great time for you to watch WandaVision that I've been telling you to do every single week. Sorry. It's funny. It's a joke.
Thanks for the suggestion now.
Hey, it's a joke.
That's okay. I watched every Bar Rescue that's probably out there.
I've been watching Pawn Stars for 4 weeks.
Yes. Bar Rescue, Pawn Stars, Drunk History.
Gosh,
I
dude.
watched all of Murder Among the Mormons.
Dude,
I watched that Blockbuster
so good.
documentary.
I watched it too.
Such nostalgic
I
burn in there. Am I
I
gonna
know.
go to Oregon? No, but
Murder,
man,
Murder Amongst the Mormons.
It's pretty decent. It's not my favorite.
It's
It's
not-
pretty decent.
It's
though.
it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the hospital, like with IVs, in
If you can't move your
you
arms,
can't move your arms.
It's a good watch.
and it's the only thing on.
Yeah.
You know, you
It's
might
really
as
good.
well.
I got Comedy Central's schedule down pat.
Nice.
After midnight, it's South Park, and in the morning, then it's Parks and Rec, and then
South
in the
Park,
afternoon, it's
Parks and
Office.
Rec.
That's it.
All the parks.
Done.
They've got all the parks covered.
Yep. I watched. I forget what the show's called. Basically, it's airport security. They try and catch people with drugs.
Never
Watched a
heard
bunch of those. So like, oh, you're
on
I bet you-
MTV.
No, it's not on MTV. It's on is it TLC? It's not TLC, is it?
I have no idea.
Something.
Impractical
Discovery
Jokers?
Channel.
Did you get to watch that at all?
They weren't on. No.
Dang.
No.
You'd think.
So I'm glad to be back. Had one foot in the grave for a hot second, but so afterwards I was fine. The only thing was they said was, "Hey, don't work out until you have the surgery and take this blood thinner." My arm felt like Mike Tyson went to town there. For
What's your
45
recovery
minutes,
time going to be after your surgery?
Apparently it's not bad. Apparently it's I'm gonna have to stay in the hospital. Apparently, I should only be in the hospital 1 or 2 days.
I mean, like
but recovery,
after your thing, how
when am
long
I gonna
until
be
you
able
can
to
work out?
hit them weights?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
I mean, that's what I'd ask the doctor.
Why don't you just come? Like, you can still come to the gym with me and just watch me while I work out.
Do you know how much that would make me angry? Do you know how hard it is for me not to take protein right now because there's no use in me taking it because I'm not using it for anything?
Yeah.
I
mean, you're still supposed to take protein whenever you're not working out.
Well, not nearly as much
Yeah.
because then it'll just turn to fat.
So your fruity pebble.
I only had 1 scoop of it left anyway. I had 3 other ones to go through though.
I've been
brutal.
cleaning through it, but
So
dang.
thanks for everybody that was checking out on me. It was really kind. When I got home, I spent 4 hours messaging each person to say, "Hey, thanks. This is where I'm at." Meant a lot. I just couldn't do anything while I was in the hospital, obviously. So,
dang, dude, it's pretty intense.
how weird is it that days before everything? I mean, my arm's not normal, but everything was normal.
I mean,
Face to face with death, and now I'm basically normal.
last time our listeners were interacting with you, like their last known interaction. I mean, there's some people that listen to this that probably have never even met you, that just listen because
Really?
they know me. Yeah,
Okay.
I have friends that listen. This is Tyler. Tyler Piat. Tyler
Wrong.
Piata. Yeah. I mean, I have friends that listen that you probably
That could have been the last time I was sighted.
Yeah.
Last known
Dude,
sighting.
What if I had your, like, the last footage of you?
I mean, that would have been possible. That would have been very possible. Who else would have filmed me before?
I mean, last time that some people heard your voice, I was talking about a strawberry daiquiri threw up in the back of my car.
Yeah, that's so true. That's very true.
I had to cut whenever I did the video version. I replaced the audio version online too, but I cut some of the ending out where I was talking about how presentable the woman was that I helped back into the house. So,
Oh, you had to cut that part out?
yeah, I cut it. I figured
You just
it.
felt it. You couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's best.
Not that anything like inappropriate.
No,
happened,
just, you had to.
we both work at a church, so
Yeah, understandable.
I got some new video gear. I'm gonna actually take a picture and I'll throw it up on screen.
Wow.
But
Wowie.
I've
Look
got,
at it.
I've got like a isolation recorder, so on the screen we see all angles of all 3 cameras.
It's pretty sweet.
Recording onto a hard drive.
Yeah.
I got a new camera. I just dropped 4 G's on a. I dropped 4 bands on a new
Same.
camera.
Just kidding. I
Yeah.
don't have money for that.
Insurance.
I just went to the hospital. I'm probably I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
declare bankruptcy
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, so we're gonna start a Patreon to pay for Tyler's. Do you know what Patreon is?
Uh-huh.
We're gonna start a Patreon to pay for Tyler's doctor bills. So
That's a GoFundMe.
yeah, go. For
Hey,
it.
I'm an idiot. I got injured.
I mean,
Pay
it's
for
not
it.
your fault.
No, it literally is not. I could not have done anything about it.
Yeah,
There's nothing I could have done. It was going to happen.
it's just crazy how like I mean, we had been working out for months.
Yeah, that's the other thing is why did it take so long?
Yeah,
Because I had worked out not with you. I basically started working out in December.
yeah,
So it took from December, January, February, 4 months.
yeah. Well, at first you gave me those like Candy Gains muscle builder things, and I have
Yeah.
not taken them yet because I didn't know if that like caused anything.
No, it did not cause the blood
I know.
clots.
I know.
It did cause digestive issues though for me.
Well, but here's what I'm saying. This is the first time I'm hearing about most of this stuff. So I didn't know I still didn't know what caused it until you just told me just right
Yeah.
now. So thank you, friend, for
So
making
you're safe to take them.
Okay, good.
Safe
So
to
I'll start
take 'em.
taking them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dang, dude. That's a lot.
In the meantime, I don't know if I will. I should really like batten down the hatches on what I eat. Like I already eat quote unquote well, but
Yeah.
I don't track like how much it is, what's the exact thing.
My Fitness Pal, bro. I use it. Actually, I haven't tracked my work.
I think I've used it before.
Like, and the cool thing is you can scan the barcode. Like, if you eat a chicken, you can literally scan the barcode, put how much of your
Ounces
serving.
or whatever
Do you have
it
like
is.
a little scale, like a drug scale?
That's what I need.
Yeah, I've got a little drug scale for all the meth and cocaine
that you guys sell out of your house. You pin it to your dogs and they run out back. And
exactly.
Like
the
your deaf dog, you put it on your
pigeons.
deaf dog's back and then it runs out.
Well, we use pigeons, so we
Okay.
strap the little thing to.
That's why there's poop
go here.
everywhere outside of your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but I use that little scale, and then
That's when you know you're serious, when you start weighing stuff on the scale and putting and writing it down.
Well, I mean, when you distribute drugs, you
You got to do what you got to do.
all right, I'm gonna end that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna end that.
Here's a
example.
snack that
Smiles
I
back.
want to try, but I don't think it's gonna be good. Those rice cakes, but like the chocolate kind. A lot of people that are like very hardcore workout people eat those all the time because they're like 30 calories a thing.
But they don't fill you up, do they?
They said it's like it's decent. If you're craving something that's sweet, just like eat a couple of them and it's like nothing.
I found if I'm craving something sweet, I found these little. They're not ice cream. They're like
Halo Top.
they're made by Halo Top. But,
Oh, really?
But they're like
Wow, what a call.
It's like a pineapple. It's like ice cream.
Oh,
bar.
the popsicle. looking
Popsicle.
things?
Why could my brain not think of the word popsicle? I'm an idiot.
Isn't sickle in the title? It's something sickle.
Yeah. But I got pineapple
They're like
ones.
60 calories or
The
something.
one that I got, I'm pretty sure it might be 60 or 30 calories. But
It's very low.
if I'm craving something sweet, that's what I do. Or I'll just, if I'm like wanting a little treat, I'll just do a swig of chocolate milk.
Yeah, swish it around.
Swish it around. All right, break time.
I guess.
Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that fancy
It's break time.
feast. Covenant Eyes is all about restoring human connection to help you live a life of freedom. Covenant Eyes is specifically designed to help you and your loved ones live a life free from pornography. They have exceptional tech support and they make it easy by giving one accessible report across all of your devices. Both Tyler and I know loved ones currently or have previously used Covenant Eyes on all of their computers and devices, and it's helped them get free from their addiction, and it's helping tens of thousands of people get free from their addiction and get recovery today. We don't want a sponsor for a company that we don't believe in, and we fully believe in Covenant Eyes and their mission. You can check the link in the description to sign up and use our code DREAMLOUD for 30 days free of Covenant Eyes.
That's right.
I mean, we technically don't really have to stop recording unless you want to take a potty break or something.
Well, I mean, we can just wait 15 seconds.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we can just keep rolling.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about?
I mean, you spent pretty much the first half talking about all your medical stuff. I could kind of talk about my medical history a little bit if you want to talk about that at all.
Yeah, that's fine. Talk about your experience with leukemia and how funny that was.
How funny it was. Yeah, you can laugh at me the whole time while I'm talking.
Have I ever put my breaking my leg story on here? I shattered my leg.
No, I
have a
think
bar
so.
in my leg.
Well, why don't we go in?
We'll do yours.
Yeah,
see how long it takes. I have more medical history to share if we get there.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. This is going well so far. This episode is flying by.
You're just
So
cracking up when I'm like, I was
Yeah,
talking to God
I
about dying.
I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah. And you're like,
I kind of want to leave all of this part in because I feel like this is good content.
we can. Well, there you go. You got to see what we were discussing about what we were going to discuss.
So to kind of give everybody a little bit of. Here, let's start. We're gonna start right here. Ready? I'm actually gonna leave that a little bit. I'm just gonna say when we 4 times. When we.
When
Okay. When we do a podcast, we don't really talk about what we're going to talk about until
it might be 1 or 2 things, but we don't plan.
The
crap.
first episode, we were like, okay, we're going to talk about this, and this.
We've never done it before. So.
And everyone after that, I feel like we just kind of show up and we just start talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think a lot of what we talk about is it's ad lib stuff. It's not,
No, it literally is up in the air.
That's
why it's
and
called,
that's
why it's called that.
We pick
we
the
don't
name
think anything.
up in the air because whenever we talk about it, just could be anything. And that's what I think I like, and our 10 listeners like.
Thanks, you guys. Let's make it a baker's dozen
the
by next week.
Patreon. Follow the link in the description to follow our Patreon.
I actually think we have a solid amount of people. I mean
we're
more
getting,
than I would think.
We're getting like 130 listens per episode.
That's good.
It's fine. It's fine. I think we're getting more views on YouTube than on
Really?
So
more YouTube views than Apple or Spotify.
So that's video.
He's pulling something up. I don't know.
Yeah. So okay. So our last episode.
Is it yelling at you?
Oh, goodness gracious. Our last episode got 12 plays.
Wow.
On audio. The one before that also got 12 plays.
Wow.
Episode 2 got 20 plays.
Wow.
And episode 1 got 33 plays. And
wow, we must suck.
That's just
less and less people are listening.
That's just on. I think it's because we push people to watch. Now on The View, 14 people, which the video episode of the last one has only been
not that good.
One day. 14 people. Yeah, the last one, I don't know why, but it didn't get a lot of views. A guy named Dog, episode 3, got 33 views. Always Taking Rolls Home got 32 views.
Okay.
And Tyler the Giraffe, which was our first episode, got 70 views. So that one total got 103 views. The last episode got episode 2 got a total of 52. Episode 3 got 45. And the last episode, we're getting
people are getting less and less interested.
Yeah. Well, we can do some more promo because I'm sure people want to hear the full story.
You could do so much clickbait. Tyler almost died. Hear about it here.
That's going to be the episode.
I almost died. I almost died.
Yeah. How Tyler almost died. I mean, I think.
Did you almost die?
I almost did die.
Well, seriously, how close
I almost died. Let me finish my thought.
Did you almost die though?
I did almost die.
Okay.
And I'll say it again. Almost died. The effort that we put into this, I feel like compared to some podcasts, we put a high production value on what we have.
Oh, there's some garbage out there, man.
We have just in cameras about $8,000 worth of gear.
I have none. Don't talk to me about that.
I mean, it's all my gear from my business. But I mean, I would say honestly, we probably have, not including the MacBook, we probably have $12,000 worth of gear.
And that's for you, 52. That's for you, 52 that are watching.
That's for the 20.
Yeah.
We're getting less and less.
Yeah.
So for
down
the 20 people,
hey, you 6 people that are really standing
that are
in.
listening, that
Thank
are
you.
sticking with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I did almost die though. So
tell me about that.
I'm not really been public with my story. From this part of my testimony at least, but I'm a survivor of leukemia. I was diagnosed with leukemia when I was 5, blood disease.
Yep. Which is what they're checking me for at first, which I did not have.
Yeah, thank God, because it's not fun.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed when I was 5. I did the whole Make-A-Wish and everything. Went to Disney.
Was that your wish?
Disney was my wish.
Your wish was I just want to go to Disney World.
Yeah, I didn't want to get better. I just wanted to go to Disney. If I'm gonna die at 5,
what do you do when they're like Make-A-Wish Foundation? Their wish is like that they get cured. You're like, well, we can't do that, but what we can do is have you meet somebody cool.
My first wish was to go to Kings Island, and they're like, okay, we can do a little better than that. It's like it's $100 to go to Kings Island. Are you sure? I mean, that sounds fine to us.
He wants 2 blue cones, not just one. He's having the best day of his life.
I specifically remember when the Make-A-Wish people came to our house. She's like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want your wish to be? I was like, I want to go to Kings Island. That's like all I knew. You know, I was 6 years old.
At that,
and so I was diagnosed 10 days after my 5th birthday. And how they found it was we went bowling for my 5th birthday, and we were, bowling and everything. And the like little line that you're not supposed to go cross because
they greased over and stuff.
Yep. So I like crossed the line barely, and I slipped and fell, and I broke my arm. And they're like, that's weird. So,
So you had really brittle bones.
yeah, I had really brittle bones. So I broke my arm and then took me to the hospital, did some blood work. At the time, the closest like children's hospital was the one up here in Columbus. So
Oh,
went
really?
to the children's hospital. We got back. This is before cell phones. There was a message that said, "Get your kid back here now." Like it's urgent. So got back. I did, and then I did like 2 rounds of chemo. So I actually lost my hair. My hair was it's brown now, but my hair was blonde when I was born, and I lost my hair twice to chemo, and now it's brown for some reason. So, um, so, but yeah, crazy. I mean, I was 5, like I didn't really. A lot of people always
Didn't
ask
really
me,
get
"What do
it."
you remember?" And I mean, I do remember some stuff. I remember, like being at the hospital a lot and all the nurses. Carla was my nurse. Carla
Carla Hughes.
Carla Hughes.
How crazy was that? When did you actually first meet her?
So when I first met her was when I was 5 when I had cancer. Did you not listen to the
Dang it, dude.
thing I just talked about?
You know what I'm asking. When you got here, when was the first time that you're
So,
like, oh my gosh, it's
Months
Carla.
ago, me and our friend, former guest, Josh Lester, we went out to dinner or lunch or something a couple months ago. This was, I think, last summer. And I was talking to Josh, we were kind of sharing our stories and our testimonies and everything. And he said, "Yeah, I'm going to be moving in with the Hugheses soon." And I said, "Oh, that's cool. I don't think I've met that." And he's like, "Yeah, Mark and Carla Hughes." And I was like, "Wait, Carla Hughes? Why does that name sound so familiar?" And I'm like, is she a nurse? Actually, I think I did talk. Maybe did talk about this story on the episode before, but whatever. Who cares? That was on my other
Sorry,
podcast.
6 people that are listening.
That
You're
was on my
getting
other
you're getting,
podcast that completely flopped.
Anyway.
So I was like, "Can you text her and ask her?" Or I was like, "Is she a nurse?" And he said, "Yeah." I was like, "Did she work at Children's Hospital?" And he said, "Yeah, I think so." I said, "Can you text her and ask her if she remembers me?" And there's patient-doctor confidentiality, but Josh texted and said, "Hey, do you by chance remember Jeff Ambergy?" And
Remember Geoff? There's not many like him.
Not many out there. And she's like, "Yes, why?" And then it like blew my mind. My brain was fried. I left and I called Laura and I called my mom and I was like, "How crazy is this?" So, I had played drums at UA one day and I actually like saw her for the first time. And I mean,
Since you were a kid.
let's see, that 20 years probably that I saw her for the first time. I mean, probably not that long because I was still doing my checkups and everything. But just how crazy is it that the nurse that I had, now almost 22 years ago, happens to go to the church that I work at. It's nuts. It's nuts.
So how long was the process?
So if I'm not mistaken, I think I was cancer free at 8. So I was diagnosed when I was 5, cancer free when I was 8. I did the 2 rounds of chemo, and
Which, do you remember what that was like? Like,
The
what is that? What
chemo?
does that entail?
not really. I vaguely remember losing my hair the first time or the second time maybe. I did radiation treatment too, and that's part of the reason. So every 2 years I'm supposed to go back and get a checkup. Before it was like every 6 months. So when I was cancer free when I was 8, it was every 6 months, then it was every year, and then now it's every 2 years. And I think that's just how it's going to be forever is I have to go get blood work, and every year they alternate. Like one of the years or every like 2 years they alternate. So on this time I have to do an EKG so they can test my heart.
Yeah.
And then on the other time they will do a bone density scan just because of the brittleness of my bones.
Gotcha.
But I haven't been to the doctor in 4 years because last time I went, I had insurance. Thanks, government. I had insurance and I still had a $3,000 doctor bill. And I'm like,
Dope. Love it.
I'm always okay. So, like, why would I go spend $3,000 when I have insurance? So it's been 4 years since my last time, and this year I'm going back. So,
All right.
I think my most vivid memory from all of that, though, was I was there for something overnight. I had to have been 7 or 8 years old. And my grandma was staying overnight with me. And did you ever watch the Ronald McDonald TV show? The cartoon way back in the
Yes,
day?
because wasn't there a way you got it like in a VHS format?
Yes, an orange VHS.
Yeah.
From McDonald's.
Yeah.
I think it was like $20. Well, I was obsessed with that TV show. I had all the VHSs of it. And my grandma had went to go to the restroom or go get food from the cafeteria or something. I was in there by myself, and it's crazy. I remember this more vividly than anything in my entire life. Ronald McDonald comes walking down the hall.
Ronald
stops,
himself.
looks at me through the thing, waves to me, and then walks away.
That's it.
And that has stuck with me every.
Well, yeah, you were watching
every
the
day of
show,
my
and there he
entire
was.
life. Yeah, I wasn't watching the show right then. It's just something I enjoyed at the time, and he happened to walk by. But yeah, that's probably my most vivid memory. I also had a seizure once there where I was playing Old Maid at the table with some of the other kids that I knew from there, and my head started shaking.
Yeah.
And then it stopped, and it started shaking again, and it stopped, and I straight up had a seizure. And they had to like strap me down to a table. I think it was from the medication that I had been taking, but had a seizure. They strapped me down to a table, and then they tried to feed me chocolate cake, and I couldn't eat it because my body wasn't stop shaking. And I never got to enjoy that chocolate cake.
Did they let you win that game?
I don't think I finished the game. I think that I was. I don't want to say disqualified, but I think that I had a valid excuse to not finish the game. So, what do you have any other medical marvels?
Yes, I do.
You said something about your leg,
Yeah, freshman year, I shattered my leg.
like your whole leg,
High school, just
like a piece of
explosion,
glass?
like
and
bones
then
out,
grew back.
bones out.
Sun's out, guns out.
No, the sun's out, legs bent like a paperclip.
So what happened?
I was snowboarding my. How old are you as a
were.
freshman in high school?
14.
Something like that. It was a snow day, and by snow day they really meant ice day. It was like
God
that,
bless.
you know, like the snow that when it's got too much ice in it, so you can just pack it really easy. But
Oh,
when
yeah.
you hit somebody with it, it hurts.
It hurts. Yeah.
It was one of those days, and we went to the golf course to like snowboard and sled and stuff. And I was like, hey, you know what's better than sledding down a hill? Sledding down the stairs. So I went to the stairwell. It's 3 full flights of stairs at this golf course. And my board, the back strap didn't have the lock was broke on it. And I was like, I don't care. Who cares? It's just all I need is the.
Who cares? I'm 14.
Yeah, who cares? I'm 14. All I need is the flat part. So my leg was just dangling outside of it. Well, I go down, and the last 3 steps, that board cuts out from under me, and my foot comes out, and I hit my shin right in the middle of my leg. I hit my shin on one of the guardrail bars, and it literally just snaps it in two, and it wraps around it like a fruit by the foot roll up and unwraps, and I cut my head open on a railroad tie. So I'm laying down there on the ground. All my friends are laughing because we're 14, and they thought I fell, but they didn't really understand the seriousness of it. They're like, is it your head or your face? And I'm like, I don't know what happened.
And then you couldn't walk.
Then I couldn't get up. My leg, I had absolutely destroyed my tibula. Is it tibula or tibia?
I don't know. It was your injury.
It's my tib and fib, both those bones in your leg, like bone out, compound fracture. Bone is out of the skin, and I'm laying there, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is really
Your
serious."
bone was out of your skin.
Yeah, compound fracture. That's why I have that scar tissue right there because it poked out of it.
Wow.
So
That's
laying
pretty
there,
intense.
It's pretty intense. I almost died.
Just like
And-
camping.
I hate camping.
Camping, it's intense.
No, it's not. It's stupid. So anyway, we're
No,
laying.
it's intense.
No, I'm just
Tense.
trying to jump over camping because I
No,
hate
no, camping is
in
intense.
tents.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
It's a pun.
I know it is.
It's a
man.
pun.
I know.
Okay, go
I
on.
know.
I don't want it to be.
Yeah,
but
it is. So they call the ambulance. Well, they can't get me. So my friend's like, how about I just fireman carry you? Which was a terrible idea because he could have like cut an artery or something. I could have died. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. So one of my buddies was like, we'll just drag you in a sled. Well, the sled's not big enough. Which end do you think was dragging on the ground? My head or my legs? My legs.
Oh, God.
So my legs are just like bouncing on the ground. My broken leg just bouncing
in
on the
pain?
ground.
Ooh.
Yes, absolutely. I
bet
was
you
in
were.
pain.
But I
It was
don't know why I
probably the
asked.
worst
That was a
pain I've
really
ever
dumb
felt.
question.
So we get up to the parking lot and they put me in the ambulance, and they're trying to cut my boot off, and they say, "We're really sorry, but your boot's made of rubber and we can't cut it off, so we're gonna have to pull it off." So they pull this off, and they're trying to hold that front part of my leg, but it's just flopping around like a dead fish because it's completely disconnected to the like other part of my leg. It's just flopping around. They're trying to like pull this boot off.
Gosh, dude. Did it
Horribly painful. Very painful.
Did that hurt?
That is when my dad had to step out of the ambulance because he said he was very nauseated and felt like he was going to throw up watching that. And they got my boot off. They took me to the hospital. Obviously, my leg was broken.
I wonder if there's a connection from that to what happened.
There's none. There's none.
Here.
And they put me in surgery. They put a metal bar through my leg, and I have 2 screws in my ankle and 1 up by my knee. And I'm good to go. No, it does not go off in the airport. Everyone asks that question. It's made out of titanium.
I wasn't gonna ask.
It
but
does
it go off in the
not
airport?
go off in metal detectors because of
What
that.
about working out your legs? Can you go business as usual?
Every once in a while, when it's about to, this is true, when it's about to rain, or if I put a ton of pressure on it, it aches a little bit, but it's never painful or I have to stop doing something.
Interesting.
But that's it.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. So
This is like the injury episode. Like,
yeah,
we're
I
just talking
guess.
about it.
You ever done anything else? You ever cut anything really bad? I smashed my finger in a door, the ones at church, the heavy wood oak doors.
Yeah.
My hand, like when you open it, goodness, I always keep hitting this. When you open it, there's like a little space. Well, I'm stupid. So I was talking and put my hands in the door like this, and the door closed right on the cuticle part of my fingers.
Dude, that
And I lost all of my fingernails. Like it crushed all of them.
I last year I got a drone and I was flying it in the house, like an idiot. And the sensor started going off,
What
so it
the
started
heck?
going berserk. So I grabbed it from the bottom and it's pulling away from me. So I tried to
So you start pulling you into the air.
Yeah, I was starting to fly away.
Yeah.
And it was pulling away from me, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to reach on the top and turn it off. And
Yeah,
the propeller hit my
that's
finger
sweet.
and my fingernail turned black.
Jeez.
I've broken both arms. I've broken both legs. This scar right here.
What kind of break? Like hairline break? Got to put a cast. Put that in a sling.
Well,
it'll heal itself.
my bones were very dense because of the cancer.
Yeah.
So, I fell. I broke my leg at the bowling alley. I broke my leg. Those like garden hose roller things that have the wheels on them.
Mm-hmm.
I would always think that I was mowing the grass and I would push that through while my foot went into a hole and I fell and I broke my leg.
Jeez.
When this scar right here, you're probably not gonna be able to see it, but there's a scar right there. At the house that my parents live at, the outside of the windowsill was painted, so it was like sealed, and they're the windows that open out like that. So I'm like, I unlock it and I'm trying to push the window to open it. My hand goes right through, and like it was like a piece of like deli meat. My hand, the skin just flopped over.
How many pounds, sir? Is that 8 ounces?
Yeah,
You got it.
Yeah. I fell a lot skateboarding growing up. Like my back.
I
is
totally
pretty
forgot
messed
about
up.
that. Yeah, you got a ton of
My
injuries,
back.
I'm sure.
The reason that I have so many back problems, though, which I'm able to like do, I pretty much have full mobility and like my lower back is getting stronger from actually working it out in the gym and not skipping lower back. When I was interning in Georgia, I was in a car accident and this guy was texting on his phone and he went 45 miles an hour through a red light and we T-boned him. So like we're going 45 miles an hour through a traffic light. This guy is not paying attention, going 45 miles an hour. We had the green light. We went through and we T-boned him and he went this way. Our car spun all the way around twice. I was in the back seat not wearing my seatbelt. So my back goes,
Yeah.
and I sprained my spine. And that was a fun call to my mom. Like, hey, Mom, I've been here for 2 months in Georgia, and I got in a really bad car accident, and I wasn't wearing my seatbelt.
Sorry about that.
Dude,
Sorry, Mom.
that hospital in Georgia, I can't remember what it's called, but it was a very bad experience. It was like
Shawshank Redemption.
I don't know. I've never seen that movie, but it was still pretty bad. Like half the hospital was under construction. It was like in kind of the ghetto, and like, yeah, it was just a lot.
It's bad.
There was like people rushing on beds past us with gunshot wounds, and
Yeah.
it was pretty intense.
Golly,
It was
dude.
pretty intense, just like camping is intense.
Did you ever have anything not broken bone, like sprains or tears, or like I have torn my meniscus 3 times?
What's that?
It's everyone knows what the ACL is. The meniscus is like one of the other things, one of the other ones in your knee. It keeps balance for it. So when I tore my meniscus, there's no balance when you land. So my leg, like if your knee's straight, your leg will just go wherever. If that meniscus. Isn't there.
Was having some pretty bad knee problems the past couple weeks, and it's mysteriously gone away. So
Yeah, must be a miraculous healing.
that's the power of the Holy
The
Spirit.
Holy Spirit. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is a good place to end. This has been a pretty
Hopefully that was uplifting and encouraging.
Yeah, encouraging. The Holy Spirit has really saved us both.
I don't know how I've survived.
Yeah. Well, if you guys have been wondering what happened to Tyler,
They didn't even know anything was wrong.
This is the episode. This is where he explains everything. So just know your bodies, and if your body is obviously trying to tell you that something's wrong, listen.
If one
to
of
it.
your arms is 3 times the size of the other one and it's purple,
It wasn't 3 times the size.
it was you didn't
twice
see it on Sunday.
twice
It
the
was
size.
huge.
Yeah.
Go get that checked out though. If that's
Yeah.
what happens. You need
If
to
your
get that
body
checked
is
out.
telling you that something's wrong, go to the doc.
Yep.
And that's your up in the air lesson.
Recommendation of the day.
All right. God bless everyone. We'll see you in the next one. Good day.
Good day.
That was pretty successful.
I would say